The News Day continues here on One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. President Bongbong Marcos presided over the National Anti-Poverty Commission's first NBank meeting on Friday without his new poverty alleviation advisor, Larry Gadon. Present in the meeting were some cabinet secretaries, agency officials, and LGU and sectoral representatives. Marcos instructed the council to focus on problem areas and to consult with LGUs in identifying key priorities that require immediate government attention. It's not clear why Gadon was absent in the meeting. He was disbarred earlier this week, though, over profane remarks against journalist Raisa Robles. Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin has since released a statement saying that the ruling will not affect Gadon's post. Prices of LPG are set for another rollback this month. Effective today, oil firms will cut prices of LPG by 3 pesos and 70 centavos per kilo. Meanwhile, auto LPG prices will also go down by about 2 pesos. This is the second consecutive month of LPG price cuts. Quezon City Mayor Joy Belmonte is championing safe spaces for the LGBT plus community, one local ordinance at a time. This as the SOGI bill remains stalled in Congress. The details in this Bloomberg Quick Take.
I think Quezon City is in fact one of the most gay-friendly cities in Asia. In 2014, we did a summit to try to find out if there was really a need for us to propose legislation in aid of this particular sector. And that's when we were kind of surprised because there were a lot of issues that were raised during the summit, among them LGBT individuals not having restroom, to more alarming issues like young girls and boys being beaten up by their parents, experiencing rejection, being bullied in schools. And so we decided that it was time to come up with some kind of legislation. It's called the Gender Fair Ordinance. We have in that ordinance a provision for the creation of a Pride Council. So this is a council that creates policy in favor of the LGBTQA plus sector. For example, here in Quezon City, we celebrate Pride. We have a commitment ceremony every year. We have trainings for our village leaders as to how they can create safe spaces within their respective villages. We are now considered the safest space for LGBTQIA plus people in the whole country because of that. And now we're mounting this Pride March, and I asked my partner NGO, which is Pride Philippines, how we were doing in terms of sponsorship, and they said they have had to turn down sponsors because there's just so many that wanted to support this advocacy. But at the end of the day, the policy is not there, despite the fact that we have drag race Philippines, we have transgender beauty queens, people are coming out left and right. The absence of policy still puts them in a very precarious and dangerous situation. The state is supposed to support human rights, and that's why I don't understand why a simple anti-discrimination bill does not get passed in Congress, because it is not inconsistent with the Constitution at all. Of course, for me, an inclusive country will also improve tourism revenue because everybody wants to come to a country that they feel safe in, right? So there are a lot of economic benefits to anti-discrimination policies, and that's why I am suggesting to my colleagues who are fighting for the SOGI Equality Bill to be passed in Congress that maybe you should argue from the perspective of economics, because there are already data that shows GDPs for countries that are inclusive vis-a-vis those that are not, and maybe that can be used to change the minds of our lawmakers. I think at the end of the day, when there's all of this noise coming in, acceptance here, respect here, marches here, rallies there, I think Congress will be convinced. That's my ultimate dream, that Congress will just say, okay, let's just do it, you know.
We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. New team Giraflor Defenders made a disappointing debut in the 2023 Premier Volleyball League Invitational Conference after being dominated by the Creamline Cool Smashers. Marty Bautista with a story.
3-0 run by the defenders.
The Creamline Cool Smashers opened up their game against new team Giraflor Defenders the same dominant way they did on opening day. Creamline made easy work of the new team as they hacked out a 25-18, 25-11, 25-12 victory to spoil the Defenders' debut in the PVL Invitational Conference. Tots Carlos was again stellar for the defending champions, tallying 15 points, which included 13 attack points. No one from Giraflor breached double digits. The win gives Creamline a 2-0 start in Pool A of the new conference.
Bagong team, so we don't have any clues about the team pa, kung ano yung defense pattern, kung ano yung mga atake. So, yun talaga yung tinignan namin nung first set. From there, nag-adjust yung team and yun, I'm really happy na lahat nakalaro today.
Caitlin Viray siding over Captain Antino.
The Choco Mucho Flying Titans likewise asserted dominance against new team Farm Fresh Foxies. After coming out hot in the first frame, Choco Mucho followed it with an even stronger showing in the second, piling up 13 straight points at the onset. In the end, the Foxies' misery ended in 3 sets as the Flying Titans cruised to a 25-14, 25-7, and 25-16 sweep. Energizer Bunny Cici Rondina ushered in her return to indoor volleyball with 14 points. Choco Mucho gets their first win of the conference while sending the Foxies to an 0-2 hole.
Wala po akong ibang inisip. Pumunta po ako dito na kailangan manalo yung team, kailangan magtrabaho ako, kailangan makatulong ako. Yun lang. Naging madali para sa akin. Mag-gel agad kami kasi kumbaga para iba't sa kami, college days pa eh. So, mabilis na lang yung convert it sa indoor.
Chen got a touch. Oh. Nice.
And in the last game of the triple header, the Petrogas Angels bounced back from an opening day loss against the returning Photon Tornadoes. After splitting the first 2 sets, Petrogas went to work to get the next 2 frames. Final scores 25-23, 22-25, 25-22, and 25-20 for the Angels. 4 players scored in double digits, led by 17 points from Gretchen Saltones. PVL Invitational action resumes Saturday with yet another triple header at the Phil Oil Eco Oil Arena in San Juan. In Pool A, the PLDT high-speed hitters will take on the Akari Chargers in both teams' tournament debuts at 1:30 p.m. While in Pool B, Photon plays Choco Mucho at 4 p.m. before the F2 Logistics Cargo Movers fight against the Signal HD Spikers at 6:30 p.m. Catch the games live on One Sports. For News 5, Marty Bautista, we are One News.
Now here's a quick look at other stories we're watching. The Bureau of Internal Revenue has added 59 medicines to its list of VAT-exempted drugs. About half of these medicines are for cancer treatment, while the rest are drugs for kidney disease, diabetes, tuberculosis, as well as mental illnesses. The Supreme Court ruled that electric distributor Meralco must give a 48-hour written notice before cutting power connections. Meanwhile, Meralco clarified that they already have an existing policy to serve a 48-hour prior notice before disconnecting power service, in compliance with due process requirements. And today's the day. Tito Vic and Joey, along with the rest of the legit Dabber Gods, will return to Free TV in their new noontime show set to air on TV5 later at 11:30 in the morning. And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us later at 10:45 in the morning as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. I'm Riza Diaz. We are One News.